All right, so we are going to do some Baby Boomer Ombre French fade nails. So this is a soft white into a pink fade. These tips are already buffed and base coated, and I'm just gonna show you my colors. So for the pink, it's hard to make out, but I'm using French Bloom by the Gel Bottle Ink. There we go. French Bloom by the Gel Bottle Ink is my pink. It's a nice neutral pink. I like it because it's just slightly sheer. So it's not a super opaque, very concentrated color, which is just gonna help all the more when you go to do your blend. So if you can get your hands on a more sheer pink and a more sheer white, you're gonna be better off. For this design, I decided to do the pinky and the thumb in a full pink color. So I'm just going through and kind of covering those nails. And then you'll see me do the middle three nails, which is where the fade is going to be. So I'm taking that pink and I'm running it about just over halfway, a little bit more than halfway up the nail. You want to make sure that you've got a good amount of this pink, because when you fade the white down on top of it, you will lose some of that pink. So make sure it goes up high enough that you're okay with losing a little bit of the pink to the fade, because obviously you've got to have a blend area. So I'm just getting that down, making sure it goes up to where I want it to, and then I'm gonna come in with my white. I'm using a milky white. This color is called Diana. It's also by the Gel Bottle Ink. You don't have to use a pre-made milky white. Of course, obviously you can make your own by mixing a clear top coat or base coat with a white gel polish or gel paint, whatever you'd like. I just use this one because I have it and it's a little bit quicker. So you're gonna see me kind of push my color right up against that pink, push the white right up against that pink without kind of going over it or blending it, just to make sure that I've got enough, obviously, of each color to accomplish the fade look. So I'm just gonna throw that on the free edge, and then I'm gonna pick up my ombre brush. So this brush is it's just a standard ombre brush. It's from Johens, but you can use any ombre brush that you have. This technique here is the most time consuming. So I'm gonna show you a couple different ways that you can accomplish the look, but this one is the most time consuming. I do think that it probably gives you the most, the least noticeable fade down, the least noticeable line of demarcation, but of course it takes a few coats and a few times through to get it to look really good. So I'm basically just using really, really light pressure and working from left to right across the nail and then dragging that white into the pink. So you're gonna start in the white section, blend white into white, work your way down, blend white into pink, and then blend that pink into pink, and you'll kind of see your line of demarcation sort of just disappear. So you've got to be really patient. Make sure you're working with really light pressure. Wipe your brush off occasionally, because if it gets all mucked up with the pink, it's going to blend back into the white. So you've got to make sure you've got a pretty clean brush as you go through the process. So you're really just pulling the color down the nail and blending it all together. So here I'm going to go in for my second coat, and I'm going to do a slightly different option here. So I'm turning the nail stand vertically, and I'm gonna work on a horizontal across the nail. So this is faster. I think it's easier for beginners. So you'll see it's still a pretty light touch. I'm not using the thick, really dense part of the ombre brush. I'm really just using the thin bristled part, and I'm just working kind of side to side right over that blend area to make sure that I smooth everything out. I do recommend, obviously, continuing to wipe off your brush throughout this process, because you want to make sure that you're not mixing your colors too much, because you don't want them to muddy and you not be able to tell the difference between the two shades. So it's not as noticeable in a pink and white, but if you were going to blend like a yellow into an orange or two other more bright colors, you're going to want to wipe your brush off pretty regularly. So keep working that blend zone until you get it how you like it. And then I let this sit for a couple of seconds before I put it into the lamp, just so that it can self-level and smooth back out so I don't have brush strokes in my blend there. Okay, the last option that I like to use is a makeup sponge. So I put some of each color on the nail. So there's already a little bit there to be blended. And then obviously I put a little bit of each color on my little tile next to me. So I'm gonna pick up the two colors next to each other on the sponge, same as I want them to go down onto the nail. So I'm gonna dip into the pink a little bit on half the sponge, dip into the white on half the sponge, and I'm just gonna go in over the top and very, very lightly dab at the nail, just making it blend. The one downside to using the sponge, while it does give a pretty quick and nice fade, is sometimes you'll end up with texture on the nail. So you may want to encapsulate this or use 2 coats of top coat to smooth it out. And you'll use a little bit more product because, of course, the sponge inherently soaks up a little bit more product than a brush does. But if it's easiest for you to get the look accomplished, then that's sometimes just what you're gonna have to do. So I do like the sponge. I like all of these methods, truthfully. The top down, the vertical ombre, when you're dragging the colors down, that one is the most difficult in my opinion. So once you're done and you've got kind of your fade mostly where you like it, I did 2 coats on this. You could probably get away with 3 coats as well. I'm going to go in with just a little bit of that milky white mixed with some top coat just to shear it out just a smidge, and I'm going to go over the entire nail. So this is just a little trick that's going to help blend everything and soften your blend. So you don't want it to be too pigmented that it's going to cover your pink up, but you want it to give just enough. It's almost like putting a filter over top of your ombre. So this is a really good little trick. You can use it on top of any color combination, but especially with the pink and white, it looks really nice. It kind of just makes everything look more seamless, look more blended, and a lot more natural. So go ahead and pop that into the lamp and we'll do the second set. And then once you've got that done and you kind of go ahead and you top coat them with matte top coat or glossy top coat, whatever you prefer, then you're all set. I needed just a little bit more of the white here. I kind of ran out, so I went and got a little bit more so I could finish, but you'll see it just kind of shears everything out. Again, like I said, almost like a filter. So that's pretty much it. Hopefully this was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.